Quick example, here's an SCV. Me telling him to move around like this is called micro, because it is what I am doing with the units that I have macroed up. So say I was running away from an enemy unit. If I was, clicking around like this is called micro at its most basic stages. So those are two very important differences, is macro, building your base, harvesting minerals, and micro, which is how you control those units that you were able to macro earlier in the game. To finish up the very basic of macro is going to be Vespene gas. That is something you get a little bit later in the game. It lets you get those higher tech units. So in order to harvest gas, if you just right click on it, look, my SCV can't do anything with this. So I'm trying to right click, but he's just standing there. So what's going on is that you have to make a refinery for that gas. So if you click on build structure once again, just like we did for the supply depot, so we're going to select an SCV, click on build structure, and you want to find the refinery. Here it is right here next to the command center. So you're going to click the refinery and you're going to place it the same way. And look, it shows you on the map where you can place these. They can only go on top of active geysers. And so we're going to left click there to start building that refinery, and it is going to be on the way right now. The important thing about refineries is that it takes 3 SCVs in most situations to completely saturate the refinery. What I mean by saturate is just basically harvest and gather that resource. So you cannot gather Vespene gas until you build a refinery on top of that geyser. And this, by geyser, I mean these in their natural raw state. So now the refinery is done, and the SCV has started mining and saturating this gas right now. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of dead time where there is no SCV mining that gas. So you want to make sure to have 3 SCVs on the geyser. All you do is select the SCV and then right-click on the refinery, and they will begin mining automatically. 3 is absolutely ideal. You never want to have less than 3, and you very rarely want to have more than 3. Basically, if you have 5, you're not getting any benefit whatsoever. 4, in most situations, is virtually no benefit. So you want to have 3 SCVs on the gas mining at all times. Now that we have the very basics on how to gather minerals and Vespene gas, let's start getting to the meat and potatoes of making an army. So, in order to make an army, you are first going to have to construct a barracks. So once again, you go to that same build structure tab, click it in the bottom left, and you want to find the barracks. And here it is right here, so we're going to click it and place it right there and basically start making that barracks. What a barracks does, it allows you to produce the very basic infantry of the Terran army. This is the very basic, kind of grunt of your army. You just have to wait for the barracks to complete, and it will allow us to construct Marines. And Marines are a very fragile but also a ranged attacking unit for the Terran army. Now, as you can see, we're at about 18 out of 19 supply, so probably a good idea to start making another supply depot. So we're going to go here, build structure, select supply depot, and place it over here. And let's go ahead and build another one. So select another SCV, click on build structure, click on supply depot, and put it right there. So now our barracks is complete. As you can see, these 3 units are grayed out, which I'm clicking right here. You can't see me clicking, but I'm attempting to click on it, and it will not let me make it because I do not have the technology yet to make those. So we're going to go ahead and make 1 Marine, as he is on the way right now. Same with our supply depots. Now, our workers are a little bit idle here because they have finished their task that we have assigned them. So you want to make sure that you don't have idle workers. You can click on them and then right-click on the mineral patches to get them back to work. So left-click on the SCV, right-click on the mineral patch, left-click on the SCV, right-click on the mineral patch to get them back to work. Our Marine has finished, so he is our first attacking unit in this game. So here he is right here. We're going to micro him around a little bit just so we can show off, how cool he looks. And we're actually going to run him over here to these rocks so you can see him attack. Now, right-clicking on, once you have a Marine selected or any attacking unit, right-clicking on your opponent is going to cause them to attack. So I right-clicked on these rocks, and right now the rock is my only opponent. So we're just going to have to start shooting this right now, and that is exactly what this Marine is doing. So the Marine, he's not involved with gathering minerals. He is all about killing things. And that is how it is. SCVs, and we'll get to mules a little bit later, but SCVs are what are going to be mining the minerals and gas, while the Marines and other units are what are your attacking units. Now, this is where we need to get into the very basic micro of attacking units. Selecting it by left clicking and then right clicking is going to issue a move command, and that is exactly what it sounds like. It is going to move your Marine to wherever you right click. Now you have to be very careful with this, because if you are doing a move command and an enemy unit starts attacking that Marine, he is not going to defend himself. He is going to do exactly what you told him to, which was just to move over here. You did not tell him to attack or engage the enemy, so while he is moving, he is very vulnerable to an attack. So what you want to do is, anytime you're moving your forces around the map, is you want to do an attack command. And to do an attack command, this is the only shortcut key I would absolutely recommend you use 100% of the time. Most other hotkeys you can get away with not using 100% of the time, but I would recommend using attack move anytime you are going to be moving your army. So to do an attack move, if you look at your keyboard, there is just the A key on the left side. If you have a standard American keyboard, unfortunately I don't know all the countries' keyboards, but you want to hit the A key, and as you can see, when I hit that, it changed my cursor to a little crosshair instead of a pointer. So when I hit the A key and then left click anywhere, that is going to issue an attack command. What that means is, anytime he is running between point A to point B, he is going to defend himself or aggressively attack anything that is in range, and that makes your army a lot more safe. It prevents them from getting taken out without at least a chance of fighting and defending themselves. So attack is a hotkey on the keyboard, and it is very, very crucial that you use the attack move. Well, with that is going to be the end of tutorial number 1. It is as basic as it gets. That is just enough to get you started. I showed you how to not only macro, but also very basic micro, and how to move your units around. Now, you want to make sure to look through all of these buildings and see exactly what they do, because later you're going to be making things like a factory, which is going to get you things like siege tanks. I mean, who doesn't love tanks? Tanks are awesome. And you get those bigger Thors, those big mech type attacking units. And as the more minerals and gas you get, the more research you can develop by doing that. So now that we made the barracks, we can actually make a factory. So I clicked on the advanced structure tab, clicked on factory, and then told him where I wanted to build it. So now the factory is on the way. Another thing to note with Terran is that you can get add-ons for almost all of your construction buildings. So or producing buildings, I should say. So like this barracks, it is a producing building because it makes zealots. Or not zealots, wow, marines rather, excuse me, it makes marines. And so there are 2 add-ons you can get. There is the reactor, which will allow you to make marines, 2 marines at the same time, but that's it. You can't make anything else at that barracks. Or you can get a tech lab, and that will allow you to unlock some of these other units. So look at this. This Marauder costs 100 minerals, 25 gas. He has a 2 supply cost. He takes 30 seconds to build, and it requires attached tech lab. So I'm going to go ahead and start making the tech lab right now. And our factory is done, which can also use tech labs and reactors. So for him, I'm actually going to make a reactor. So I'm making 2 different tech add-ons for 2 different buildings here. And so once this one is done, it should be done here in just a second. This is going to get ungraded, and look, you can make a Marauder as well as a Reaper. So let's go ahead and make one of each just by clicking them, while we are also going to be waiting for the reactor. The tech lab does have some upgrades for your infantry, so you want to make sure to look through there, see if there's anything that you could potentially use for your army. And the reactor does take a little bit longer than the tech lab to construct. That's just simply how it works out. And there we go, that's done. So now I can make Hellions. Having this reactor on the factory lets you make 2 Hellions at the same time. Now you do have to pay for both Hellions, and not only minerals and your gas, which Hellions don't cost gas, but any unit that uses gas, you would still have to pay the full price of both and the same supply cost. This is simply allowing you to build those units twice as fast as you normally would be able to. So once these units spawn out of here, which they are almost done, so we're going to move these units over here, and there's the Reaper. One thing about Terran buildings is that they can lift off, and they can actually fly around. So you can fly your buildings in the air. So say you get rushed and you have to change where your base is, you can fly them around. So I am actually going to swap these 2 buildings, because since they can lift off, they also have to land. and you can actually use the different add-ons. Even though one was made at a factory, you can still connect it to other flying buildings for the Terran. Hopefully I got that one right. I may have misclicked there. And nope, I didn't. So there we go. Now we have switched it. So now that the factory has the add-on, the tech add-on, it lets me get siege tanks now, which before it didn't let me. And since I landed the barracks here, it takes away the Marauder, but it lets me build 2 Marines at once because it is a reactor. And to finish out this video, I am just going to show you the basic units that we have already made. So here's the Reaper. They are very fast, and they can also jump up and down cliffs. So this is the only unit in the game that can jump up and down cliffs. There are some other units that can scale cliffs like this, but they are a very unique unit in this regard. Hellions are a very light mechanical unit. As you can see here, he is very fast running around here, and they basically are very strong against light units. The Marauder is a very heavily armored ground unit for the Terran, and so you'll see he can shoot missiles here. He's really good against heavier units like siege tanks and other big units like that, because he does shoot these slow rockets, and he also runs fairly slow himself. So he'll do a lot of damage to these heavily armored rocks, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird to think of rocks as armored, but they're well-defended rocks, so he is very good against them. Hellions are more good against workers and stuff like that, so as you can see, he shoots fire, which does splash damage, which what splash damage means is that it will hit multiple targets. So anything in this line of fire, which is funny in 2 ways, because it's, actually a line of fire that they can see, and also a line of fire like it's a fire line. Anyways, so it will do splash damage. A lot of units do not have splash damage, however. And under advanced buildings, you can also get air units by making the starport, which also uses these different add-ons, and depending what you have on it, you can make different stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I know it is as basic as it gets. This is just how to play StarCraft. So, I should probably mention, you want to use these units to attack your opponent. So at some point, you want to push out and attack your opponent with this awesome army that we've made so far. Hopefully you guys will be able to make a bigger army than what I have right now. But yeah, the basic idea is to move out and kill all of your opponent's buildings. So good luck out there. Let me know what you guys think of this video and what kind of tutorials you want to see in the future. Again, I'm sure a lot of you didn't learn too much from this, but I know I have friends who have never played an RTS, and this is going to be the kind of video to hopefully get them up to speed on exactly what an RTS is for those of you who don't know. So that is it. Now we'll see you guys next time.